At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday.
Good morning, Vietnam. What's going on, guys? It's your boy JT, and welcome back to another episode of It's Only Monday podcast. This is the podcast to put some pep in your step. This is the podcast to make a Monday feel like a Friday. This is the podcast to get your Mondays going. Happy New Year, y'all. Welcome to 2023. It's the first Monday of 2023, January 2nd. And if you made it here, that means you survived the last 365 days of 2022. So first of all, I have to say thank God for another day and thank God for another year. And also, congratulations that you made it. Man, I know a lot of you guys right now are probably thinking this is going to be all about, it's the beginning of the year, plan your goals and stuff like that. Kind of, sort of. Kind of just been, watching some things and seeing what people do. Personally, for me, the new year isn't really a time of like, it's time for change. It's time for, remapping everything and planning things out. Yes, to a certain extent, but not really. I use that actually for my birthdays. I see that as more like a day like that than a new year. But yes, for the new year, a lot of people are going to start, focusing on goals that they want to do and doing all that and things like that. But I've been seeing a lot of different takes online, which some of them valid, some of them, maybe not. Some of them, I can see a point. Some of them, it's kind of a reach. But at the end of the day, to each its own, it is technically a new year. And the way this world and majority of us run on this calendar is January 1st. Is time for the new year and time to do the new goals and do the new things and finally implement the things that you were grinding and working on. A lot of times people think they need to do things on a schedule, and that might be a good conversation, schedules, right? Time being a construct. That's what I think I started this whole thing in when I said, welcome to, It's Only Monday. That like, just because it's a new year, if you make like a bunch of goals, I think goals are great, but sometimes you see them as like an ending point, right? Like, there's a goal. Once you hit that goal, you're done, right? And people are saying, to make your goals your standard, or not make goals, but make standards. Because when you make a standard, it's the way that you want to live. It changes the way that you want to be. And that's going to be your new standard, meaning that you're not going to drop below that. If anything you do, you're below your standard. When you make a goal, yeah, you can aim for a goal, but then you don't mind falling back down, right? Like if your goal, let's say, is just to make $100. I'm just using an example. Yeah, you aim for the goal. Once you make the $100, you're like, okay, cool, I did it. Then you can obviously say, well, I'll make a bigger number. I'll make 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 or 10 million or 100 million or 1 billion. But no matter what, that's just arbitrary. You got to make a standard, Actually, I saw someone said this on a podcast, but with human beings, it's kind of funny. We actually will work to maintain something rather than to obtain something new. And what do I mean by that? And it was a cool concept and it actually made a lot of sense. If someone told you that if you got up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning and did a workout and didn't go back to sleep and then, started your day, they would give you $50 every day to do that. Or if someone said, you have to wake up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning and do 100 push-ups. And then you can go back to bed and then like start your day at like maybe 8 or 9 when, get a little nap in. But if you don't do it, they'll take away $100. Not even $100. Let's say $25. So half of what you would gain. People would rather do the maintaining than the gaining. Like, and I'm not saying like you have either or. The whole point I'm trying to say is if you had one option given to you, and you got the one where it's like, okay, you can get $50 every time you do this. Some days you might be like, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't need the $50. Or, okay, cool, I'll do it this day so I can get, like, you'd start putting it off because a lot of times trying to obtain or have ambition for new things doesn't necessarily motivate people sometimes. But losing something that you already have definitely motivates a lot of people. So that was a very interesting take. And where was I going with this? There was a connection I was trying to make here, but right now I can't really think about it. My mind, honestly, to be honest with you guys, is in a million different places right now because I'm kind of working on a whole bunch of different things and it's taking a lot of brain power. And I was doing that all day today. So today it's kind of You got the Josh that's thinking at the same time as he's talking, and my mind is thinking about a million different things. It's good though. It's good, right? Like it's all great things, but it's just very preoccupied with some amazing ideas and thoughts and things like that. But I digress. The whole point of that was, this year, I think, raising your standards and trying to make goals. I guess that's the connection I was trying to make there, because the standard is like, you don't want anything like, for that example of like waking up and they'll take $25 if you don't do it, but you won't gain anything, let's say, but they'll just take away if you don't do it. You will make it your standard not to have anything taken away there. But for gaining like $50 to go do this, you might raise your standard. Like, I'll do this twice a week and get $100. Some people will I'll do it every day this week. But there will be a time where maybe you're just like, oh, I'm tired, or I just don't feel like it, or it doesn't matter, I don't care, or I can always, but that's the whole thought process there. So when it goes about goals this year for the new year, I've been thinking, a lot of times, we all have the ambitious goals, right? The things we want to do to get more, build more, create more, all those type of things, which is amazing and great. But there's also the other side of maintaining, which is, I think, also a very harder skill than growing sometimes. And you might be saying, what are you talking about? Kind of a thought process I've noticed a long time. And that's why I kind of have a huge respect for longevity. And I have a huge respect for people, the same word, longevity, that can like maintain things, right? For example, I'll just use like musicians, right? You have musicians that pop up and, they become famous in just a short period of time, right? And everybody knows them. But, it's kind of fleeting. Maybe their stuff isn't necessarily gonna last the test of time. It's not gonna be like some Bob Marley or something that's gonna be played for generations. But then you got artists that have been grinding and doing their thing for years, and they might not be at the superstar status, but they're at a status that's pretty like maybe known, or some people know them, or they have an underground following or cult following or whatever. But the thing is, like, to maintain that, to me, is very like respectable. And it goes across the board for many things, because I think we live in a society where it's all about obtaining things and obtaining things fast. And especially with technology and stuff, we can get things really, really fast nowadays. Okay, now we're going. I'm in the mode now. Happy Monday, y'all. We're going to have a conversation, kind of introspective conversation, this new first Monday of the new year. But something I have noticed is people are, this generation, it's quick. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's easy, but it is easy to obtain things, right? Fast. Like, again, it's easy to get into I guess I could talk from a social standpoint, like, social media fame. You got TikTok stars that are making millions and millions of views every day. Like, I forget that girl's name, like Charlie D'Amelio or whatever. And there's probably other ones. Again, I'm not actually using TikTok like that, so I don't know. But that was, that was like the first TikTok star I heard of, right? And grew to fame so quick. And there are so many others, right, that are. But it makes you kind of think, okay, in this day and age, when it comes to certain things, you can amass it really, really quickly. But I've always had an affinity for maintaining, because I think that is the hard thing. And I think that's a cool thought to kind of put in your head this Monday morning and to focus on. And I think a lot of you probably have done that, right? Like, maintaining is, I think, sometimes even harder than obtaining. You might be like, what are you talking about? But again, it's niche what I'm kind of saying. It depends. Like, if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. And if you don't, I'll try to explain it to you. Because of technology, because of certain things, we can do things fast. We can do things really good, and we can do things where we can reach a bunch of people really fast with it, right? Doesn't matter what it is. Like, again, put it to anything you want to think about, right? But maintaining the thing is, I think, the hardest part of it. It's like, you see this in TV shows all the time, and movies. They always talk about these type of stories. The person that, gets the Lamborghini and the mansion, all these things, right? And then, like, they're the superstar. What was it? There was a show I watched that's pretty similar to this. Like, I can use an example. Like, actually, that artist is not really an example. I was going to use, what's his name? That old song. I like being, but not Sir Mix-a-Lot. See, this is where I'm saying I'm kind of like, my mind's going 1,000 places and I can't remember his name right now. But he was an old time rapper, MC Hammer. There we go, MC Hammer, right? But even his music lasts a long time. But let's just say, for example, any artist that you know that's blown up quick and has, maybe I'm using them as an example because it's the easiest to kind of use, right? Because we all know, again, entertainment, music, actors, we can use that because we all are familiar with that. If I tried to use some obscure like business person, you probably be like, what are you talking about, right? So that's why I'm using that industry as an example. But there's other artists that I know that have been doing their thing for years and maintaining, and it's like you watch them, and it's like, wow, to do that is hard. And that's hard anywhere, right? Because again, I think getting it kind of goes back to the goal and the standard. Like the standard is I'm gonna do this, and this is what I'm gonna do. And the goal is I want to do this, and once I do it, cool, I'm good to not do it anymore as long as I did it, right? That's where you get like one hit wonders, right? That make like an amazing record, and then it just disappears because it was maybe a goal, but it's like they didn't want to. And there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day, right? Like maybe they want to do something else, who knows? But I think this is I'm trying to find my footing in this conversation with you guys, even though you're not talking back, but I think I can like hear what you're thinking. Is the footing I'm trying to land this plane here is the fact of standards and goals kind of go on the same plane as obtaining and maintaining. The goals are obtaining. You whatever you want to do this year, that's the goal. Cool, obtain it. But once you obtain it, just know maintaining is one of the most important things, because maintaining is where you put the standard in your life of, okay, I will never let the line go below this. And if it goes below that, I'm going to work my ass to make sure it goes above back to that, because that's where I want to maintain, right? Think about like if you have gas in your car, you don't want to maintain your gas at zero. You don't, I'll let it go to empty. And then, no, you always want to have, at least a half tank, maybe. Some people always a full tank. I think it was my grandpa. He always wanted like a full tank all the time, no matter what. After he's done driving, full tank. So when he parks it in the morning, he knows there's a full tank, no matter where he goes. Some people it's a half tank. Some people it's a quarter tank. End of the day, if it's zero, like you want an empty tank and you're like, oh, I don't even know if this will start in the morning so I can get to the gas station. You don't want to live like that, right? So that's where the standard comes in. Because you can go, okay, cool, I can go get some gas. Yeah, sure, that's the goal, get some gas. But what about tomorrow? And again, this is just a very obscure example. But the whole point I'm trying to make is this year, 2023, and 2022, if you maintain that, congratulations. I mean, that's so hard. I feel like we live in a society now where we might overlook those things. And there are people that still, do look for those things. But I think because of the noise of everything, you might be like, oh man, like I gotta do this. I gotta do what's next. But listen, if you're able to maintain what you got, bro, that's hard. That is hard. That's actually commendable, because like I said, getting things, and when I say things, it could be anything, is easy, right? It could be, you could put anything to this. It could be, material. It could be immaterial. It can be anything. It's about maintaining things, material, immaterial, whatever. That's what I think it's really about this year. And, that's always been my mindset for things. I've always, really had a respect and regard for people that can maintain. It's a big line in Paid in Full, live and maintain. Shout out to Ace Boogie. But on that concept, first of the year, what's the homework that I want to give? That, and if you guys are following with the homework, man, that's sick. I know there's somebody out there right now that has done maybe the homework a few times, but I think this year is focus, maybe not focus. Let's look back. Like we always want to look forward. And even looking back is like not even the greatest. Let's be in the moment right now. And let's in this moment look back. But no, for this moment, I want to say look back and write down the things that you've maintained throughout your life. It could be anything. It can be material things. It could be relationships. It can be whatever, friendship. It doesn't matter. But look at the things that you've put in work to maintain, right? And that you put in work to maintain. Not just that maintained it on its own, but you had to actively do things to maintain this, to make sure it stays. Congratulations. And put a pat on your back for yourself for doing that, because that takes time, dedication, no matter what it is, right? Raising your kids, that's an everyday effort. You've got to maintain that. That's not just you know what I mean? So congratulations if you're doing that, Now, I think the actual homework this year is to be present, because I saw a post supposedly from a monk, maybe not, who knows? It's social media. Who knows who really writes these things? It's probably like a 15-year-old kid in their bedroom, and then they're just writing it's a monk and then put it on these sites and then goes viral, and then somehow Anyways, supposedly it was from a monk, and the monk was saying at the end of the day, and you've heard this before, looking forward in the future, gives you anxiety. Looking in the past, gives you regret or something like that. I can't remember, something like that. But the only true happiness is living in the present. And I think that's true. Because, the whole time we're all, oh, look, New Year's coming, last year is behind me. But like, and I get it. If it wasn't great for you this 2022 or whatever that just passed, I understand. You might want to throw it behind you. Granted, no problem. But we're always as a society looking towards the future. And it's just like, we're always going to be not completely happy if we're constantly looking in the future. There has to be moments you're here in the past. You're grounded. You're there, Perfect example when it comes to being present is, after a while, like I used to always bring my camera around different places and things like that, especially, just to film and stuff. And obviously to like work, I'm always like had my camera with me. I'm always filming and stuff. But there came a time where, I wanted to just go to places just to experience it. Obviously, it's a blessing to be able to experience things through the side with your camera because, like, you get to be in places where, regular people can't go, when you're at these events or different things like that, concert shows, whatever. So you're obviously in an amazing position with your camera, but you're there from the perspective of filming, right? And there's a lot of times I just wanted to be in the perspective of just enjoying the moment, And that's why, the past how many years I just, go to different things, events, shows, etc., and just enjoy. I put my phone down. I go to some of these things by myself and just rock out. Phone down, don't just enjoy it. Because like I want to be in the moment here. It's so weird when I see, go to like shows or concerts or whatever it is, and you just see a bunch of phones out. And I'm like, guys, like, why are you filming this? Like, is it to show people you were there? Like, come on, man. At the end of the day, like, I get it, but like, just enjoy the moment. The memory sometimes is so much better than playing it back, man. Think about some of the fun nights you had. If it was like all filmed, like you're going to be like, okay, like, oh, maybe it wasn't that lit as I thought it was. Maybe it might be, who knows? But I'm just saying, a lot of times it's the memories. It's like oh yeah, I remember in this and this. And then like those are the things that really live forever in your mind. But when we're constantly like filming, it's just, I'm looking at these things like, why, man? Like this show's going on and there's 15 people all with their cameras out. And there's a cameraman filming this thing. So like at the end of the day, we're all going to see it. But like, no, like, and listen, as someone that works in film and editing, that's amazing because I can just go on social media. If I like was filming a concert and I want 10,000 different angles, I can just pull it from anywhere. Cool. But like as a person trying to live in the present moment, man, that really does, I think, take away from it. So maybe the homework for this today is, it's not even really homework for today and this week, but it's just for this whole year. And hopefully you practice this becomes a new standard. Ooh, see how I brought that back? Ooh, okay, I'm still here. I'm on. But it becomes a new standard in your life where you just be more present. Just be more present. It's cool to, like film. If you're going to be filming things and taking pictures as someone that does that, for a living, like, cool. Take a shot. Boom, put it away, live the day. Oh, cool. Let's take a group photo. Let's take a photo together. Boom, boom, done. Boom. There's no need for 18,000 different shots. There's no need for like to film every second of whatever it is you're doing. Unless you're like creating a vlog or something. But just, be present. That's what I would say. And transfer that into your whole year. And then hopefully it becomes your standard. And next year and the following year and the rest of your life, you are present. So then you are happy because all these moments you were there. You lived it. There's something like, for me, that I find that I just love when I'm like present is like, I just enjoy it. Like I enjoy whatever I'm doing wholeheartedly. And like the next day when I think about it, I'm like, oh, this was so great. And I like when people, I just feel like when you're filming things, like not for like filming for work, but like just on your phone, just to capture a moment to like post on social or something. It's like, you're not there. You see people do that and then they're like, oh, that's so lit. And then they put their phone away and they're standing there. You're like, wait a second. Like, yo, y'all some good actors because like, just like did that for the camera. Like you went live for 10 seconds, because like, what I mean? It's like, on like TV back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like cable TV. and they go live. And when they go live, you know, they're like, and like they have a smile on their face, like, hey, we're doing this and this. Okay, back to you. And then as soon as the camera cuts back, like, you know, their face just went straight, and they're like, okay, like they don't care. So what people are doing. So again, I'm not here to rant about it or be upset about it, but I just want you to be aware in case you are doing it, to make sure that like you really do live in the moment and be present this year, and make that your new standard. Have goals, that's fine. And don't listen. Beginning of year doesn't have to be beginning of year. Because the main thing I think about this is this year, it's not about just being motivated. Because like right now, there's probably a bunch of you that are motivated. You're going to the gym. You're going to, you know, work harder. You're gonna, you know, focus on all your goals. You're gonna focus on, you know, maybe making more money. You're gonna focus on being a better whatever, right? That's great. But the way to stay consistent with it, and consistency is a very important thing, is discipline, not feelings, not feeling motivated, not I'm in the mood, not because I think that's one thing many people, yes, you know, and I've fallen victim to this as well. You if you're governed by the feelings to do something, in the sense of like, oh, I just don't feel like doing it right now, doesn't matter. Push through it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about your feelings, and that's not going to get you your goals or your new standards if you let your feelings dictate what happens in reality. What do I mean by that? This is a perfect example for me. The other day, I've been going to the gym, right? Working out consistently, not just because of New Year's, but just in general. Feels so good. Like just, I missed this. Just the feeling of being able just to get up and just your body and just move and pick up things. And, you know, it's just so simple. And there's one night I'm like, hey, maybe I took like maybe 2 days off, because you have to have rest days, right? And I just was like, oh, I just don't feel like going. I don't feel like going right now. I really don't. And I was going to like not do it. And I was almost going to give into my feelings of feeling unmotivated. And I said, you know what? Just go. So I just went on a treadmill, started doing my run. Still didn't feel like it, you know, played some music to try to get into it. It was hard. Like, you know, most of the times you can get into it, but that was a hard time to get into. And eventually, yes, it felt good to be there, and I did it. And, you know, even that whole workout, no matter how much I could say it felt good to do it, it didn't feel like those ones where like, you're like, yes, oh, and you're pumped. It was still like a drag. But when I got back, I was just so happy that I was disciplined to get it done. Not because I felt like it, not because I was disciplined. And I think that's what's going to have to be something that you have to think about this year, is because right now, a lot of y'all are hyped up, ready to follow your do these goals, New Year's resolutions, but there's going to become a time, I don't know, it might be a couple days in, couple weeks in, couple months, that you might be like, maybe just not today. And that's the moment where it starts to go downhill. And that's what you got to fight. And that moment of feelings has to come in discipline. All right. So yeah, just something I thought I'd share. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like, even talking right now, I am tired. I've been busy working on a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm tired right now, and you might hear it in my voice, but I'm like, listen, I got to get this done because I got to put out this episode for you guys. Right. So with that being said, I know I might not sound the most hypest right now, but you know, just you find that energy for me right now. But I want to say happy Monday, happy New Year. Thank God for another day. Like I say, check the Twitter. And I hope you have a happy Monday. I hope you have a happy year, happy month, happy week, happy hour, happy minute. Be present. Focus on the things that are good in your life. Focus on what you have and not what you not have. Sorry, I kind of said that word. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. And just be thankful. All right? And do your best this Monday. So happy Monday. That's it. It's your boy JT. It's Only Monday Podcast. We're going to do the damn thing.